The sky over Tetsuya City was bright, but a strange shadow spread across the streets. People looked up in confusion as shapes larger than buildings descended from above. They moved silently at first, almost graceful like birds gliding through air. Then the hum came, a low vibrating sound that made the metal of the city shake. From the largest vessel, beams of light scanned the city below. It was the first time humans had seen aliens up close. Their skin was translucent, pale with shifting colors inside, like glowing water. Their arms were long, fingers thin and delicate, yet there was something dangerous in the way they moved. The city's alarms rang, lights flickered, and people began to run. Fear spread faster than the wind. In a small dojo at the edge of the city, 11-year-old Mira Tanaka swung her sword in perfect rhythm. She was small, wiry, and strong for her age, her hair tied back in a tight braid. Every morning she practiced for hours, not for games or trophies, but because her father taught her that skill and focus could protect life. Today her father had warned her about the aliens. "They will mock you," he said, "but never let fear show." Mira's heart raced. Her father worked in the city's energy labs, and he had seen the alien ships before anyone else. He had prepared something secret, something that only a human with courage and skill could use. Mira's hands tightened on the hilt of her sword. The steel gleamed in the sunlight, but there was something different about it. Her father had embedded a small energy core inside, an experimental thing humans had never dared to test against alien technology. The first scout ship landed in the central plaza, its legs stretching wide. The aliens stepped out, tall and elegant. One of them bent slightly to inspect the humans below. "Primitive," it said in a clear, metallic voice. "They will not survive." The words carried over loudspeakers, broadcast to the entire city. People froze. Children screamed. The street emptied except for Mira. She did not move back. Her eyes were sharp, watching the aliens' every gesture. Her friends from the dojo had begged her to hide. "It's too dangerous," they said. "They are giants. You are just a child." But Mira felt something stronger than fear. It was determination. She knew humans had survived worse, and she knew that courage sometimes came in small packages. The alien's attention turned toward her. It stepped closer, tilting its head as if puzzled by her calmness. Mira's legs shook slightly, but she planted her feet firmly. She raised her sword in front of her chest. "Ready?" The alien laughed, a sound like wind whistling over sharp glass. "Do you think this little thing will harm us?" it said, its voice mocking. The laughter echoed through the streets. Some humans fled, hiding behind overturned vehicles and rubble. Mira's stomach twisted, but she focused on the sword. Her father's words came to her mind: "Your courage must guide your moves. Your mind is sharper than any blade." Suddenly the alien raised a probe from its wrist, a glowing rod of energy aimed directly at Mira. The air crackled with tension. Mira twisted her body, deflecting the energy with the flat side of her sword. Sparks flew, hitting the ground and bouncing into nearby walls. People peeked from hiding spots, mouths open in disbelief. The probe slammed against the sword again and again, but Mira adjusted, angle by angle, redirecting the energy harmlessly toward the empty street. For the first time the alien stopped laughing. It stepped back slightly, narrowing its glowing eyes. This human child was not what it expected. She was small, but every move was precise, calculated and clever. The alien's confidence wavered, and Mira noticed the tiniest hesitation. She knew then that humans could outthink even these creatures, if they had courage and speed. The ground shook as another alien vessel landed nearby. From the ship, drones began to descend, each armed with lights that could slice steel. The city's people screamed, running for safety. Mira's heart raced, but she did not flinch. She realized this was no longer just about defense. It was a test. The aliens wanted to see if humans could fight back. She glanced at the sword, feeling the hum of the energy core inside it. The weapon was fragile compared to the alien machines, yet it carried something far stronger: human ingenuity, training, and willpower. Mira swallowed hard, thinking about her father, the city, and every person depending on someone brave enough to act. A sudden shadow fell over her. One of the drones hovered inches above her head, spinning slowly, scanning for weak spots. Mira crouched, preparing to jump, her mind racing. The alien scout stepped closer again, curiosity replacing amusement. It reached toward her, a gesture almost like a challenge. Mira's breath caught. She knew one wrong move could mean the end. But she also knew that if humans waited in fear, the city would be lost. She tightened her grip, muscles coiled, and focused on one simple truth: even small humans could face giants when courage guided them. And then, in a single heartbeat, The alien lowered its probe, its eyes locking on her sword, as if sensing something she did not fully understand. Mira felt the hum inside the blade intensify. Something was about to happen, something that could change everything. The city held its breath. The alien lowered its probe, tilting its head as if studying Mira. Its translucent skin shifted, colors flowing like liquid, giving the impression of thinking, calculating. Such courage, it said slowly, voice smooth and mocking. For a child. How amusing. Mira's grip on her sword tightened. She did not move, though her heart pounded. Around her the city was chaos. Smoke rose from overturned vehicles, sirens screamed, and humans huddled behind whatever cover they could find. But Mira knew that hiding would not protect anyone. She had to act. The alien stepped closer, long fingers brushing the air, scanning the sword. "This is your weapon?" it asked, a hint of disbelief in its tone. "A primitive metal stick against us? You cannot possibly." It paused and the laughter bubbled up, high-pitched and strange. "You cannot survive." Mira said nothing. She watched, calculating every movement of the alien's body. Its probe glowed, sending out waves of energy that made the air shimmer. She could see the faint patterns in its movements, the rhythm it used to strike, the angles it favored, the way it leaned just slightly before each jab. It was predictable. And that was her chance. The alien's laughter rang across the plaza again. Nearby humans froze, unsure whether to flee or watch. Some whispered in disbelief. "She's just a girl, she can't fight them." What's she thinking? She'll die. Mira ignored them all. Her mind focused on one thing, the survival of the city. The alien may have mocked her, but it had underestimated one critical fact. Humans think differently. We improvise. We adapt. She crouched slightly, feeling the hum of her sword's energy core pulse through her hands. Her father's secret design, the experimental resonance embedded in the steel, could redirect energy, but only if she used it perfectly. The alien raised its probe high. Sparks of energy danced along its length. Mira took a deep breath, centering herself. When the probe came down, she did not strike directly. Instead, she angled the sword, deflecting the energy away at a sharp angle. The beam shot past her, slamming into a nearby vehicle and ricocheting toward the pavement. The sparks were blinding. People gasped. Some screamed. The alien froze for a moment, shocked. Mira adjusted again. Each time the alien swung, she redirected, spinning slightly, angling the sword to bend the beams harmlessly around her. Her movements were fluid, precise, almost dance-like. She was small, but her mind raced faster than the alien could track. Each deflection sent faint pulses of energy back toward the scout's ship, causing minor disturbances in its systems. The alien hissed, a sharp sound that made the hair on Mira's arms stand. Clever, human. But one child cannot stop us. It stepped closer, probe vibrating with power. You will break. Your city will burn. And then, it leaned in, voice low and cruel, you will understand how weak you truly are. Mira's stomach tightened. She knew she could not stop every alien ship, every drone. But she realized something important. She did not have to. One small, precise action could create a chain reaction, a disruption that would make them hesitate. Humans were not the strongest by nature. We were clever. And cleverness could change the impossible. The alien probe moved faster, a flash of energy aimed directly at her chest. Mira pivoted, swung her sword with perfect timing, and the beam hit the blade's energy core. Sparks exploded outward, scattering across the street. The force threw Mira back slightly, but she landed on her feet, heart pounding. The alien stopped moving. Its glow flickered strangely, and for the first time, it seemed uncertain. Nearby humans peeked out from cover. Whispers spread. Did she just? The beam, it bounced back. She's surviving? Mira's eyes darted to the larger ships above. She realized they were watching. Every move she made was being analyzed. The aliens were not just attacking, they were testing humans, measuring reactions, searching for weakness. But Mira had no intention of being predictable. The scout alien stepped back, tilting its head in a strange pattern. Interesting, human. Perhaps more dangerous than we assumed. Its voice carried a faint edge of respect, though it quickly masked it with amusement. This is curious. Shall we see how far you can go? Mira crouched, breathing fast. She knew more drones were on the way. Each one would test her limits. Her muscles ached slightly, but her mind was sharper than ever. She realized something vital. Fear could be transformed into strategy. Courage could be measured in action, not size. One child could face giants if she was willing to think faster, move smarter, and never give up. Then a new sound split the air, a high-pitched whine like electricity on fire. A second alien ship descended, larger than the first. Drones swarmed out, their glowing blades cutting through the air. The city panicked again. Myra's pulse quickened. This was no longer a test, it was a challenge. She took a deep breath, planted her feet, and raised her sword. Her small body braced for the impossible. She knew one thing with absolute certainty: she could not retreat. Humans never retreat when hope remains. The aliens laughed, mocking yet wary now. Myra's eyes glinted. She was ready. Something inside the sword thrummed louder, as if anticipating her next move. And then the first drone lunged straight toward her, its lights aiming to pierce her defenses. Myra's hands tightened on the hilt. Her mind raced, faster than fear, faster than the aliens' anticipation. She would show them what humans could do. The street fell silent for a heartbeat, as if the entire city was holding its breath. Myra's heart raced as the drones descended, spinning in precise formations. Each one glowed with blue energy, blades humming in the air like knives ready to strike. Her small frame was dwarfed by their size, but her mind was sharper than ever. She remembered her father's words: "Courage without thought is useless. Think, predict, act." The first drone lunged straight at her. Myra sidestepped, slashing her sword across the air, not to destroy it, but to redirect its energy. Sparks arced into the street, lighting up the rubble. The drone wavered, its sensors flickering. She smiled slightly. It had underestimated the creativity of a human mind. Another drone swung from above. Myra ducked low, then leapt up, using the edge of a building wall to push off, spinning midair. She struck the drone with the flat side of her sword, sending it skidding sideways. Its lights flickered, and for a moment, it hovered, confused. She realized quickly that fighting each drone head-on would not work. Too many. Too fast. Too strong. But she didn't need to fight them all. She needed to create a problem the aliens hadn't predicted, a weakness they couldn't ignore. Her eyes darted to the surrounding city. Tall glass buildings, abandoned energy panels along the streets, reflective metal scaffolding. Humans had built these things for safety and work, not as weapons, but clever humans could turn anything into a tool. Myra's mind raced. She ran toward a row of metal panels that had been left in a construction site. They were long, thin sheets, slightly bent from years of neglect. Myra jumped onto the first one and pressed it to the ground. Sparks flew as she guided the drone's lights across the reflective surfaces. The beams bounced unpredictably, creating confusion among the swarm. The drones collided with one another, struggling to recalibrate. The alien scout watched, tilting its head. Clever. But one child cannot change the outcome. Humans are fragile. You will fail. Myra gritted her teeth. Humans survive because we adapt, she whispered under her breath. She spotted a junction box nearby, its wires exposed and energy still running through them. The perfect amplifier. If she could connect her sword's energy pulse to the box, she could create a feedback surge strong enough to disable at least part of the alien swarm. But timing would be critical. One misstep and the energy could explode in her hands. She crouched, evaluating distances, drone movements, and her own stamina. Each second mattered. The drones were relentless, spinning in tighter circles, scanning every street, searching for her. Myra could feel the city holding its breath, the panic of humans below fading into silent hope. She took a running start, sword held high, and leapt onto the junction box. Sparks hissed as her sword connected, sending a pulse through the wires. The street lit up in a blinding flash of blue energy. The drones faltered, their formations breaking apart. Energy arcs danced across nearby buildings, creating chaos that even the alien command could not control immediately. The scout alien froze, color shifting rapidly across its skin. Impossible, it hissed. A child, controlling energy. Myra's small hands trembled, but she did not falter. The sword thrummed with energy, reacting to the feedback from the junction box. She could feel the power, almost alive, surging through her arms. Every drone in the immediate area flickered and crashed, sparks flying. The humans who had been hiding peeked out, jaws open, eyes wide in disbelief. A child had just disrupted a perfectly organized alien attack. But Myra knew this was only the beginning. Above, the larger alien ship pulsed with energy, sending out new drones, faster and more aggressive than before. The scout alien raised its probe again, its voice hard and cold. You cannot win. Stop, human, or the city dies. Myra looked around. She could not run. She could not hide. Every moment she delayed, more civilians would be in danger. She drew a deep breath, centering herself. Her sword hummed, resonating with her courage. Humans were not the strongest physically, but no machine, no alien could match a human mind that refused to surrender. The drones circled again, faster, forming a trap. Myra's mind raced. She would have to use both her sword and the environment. The reflective glass panels. The exposed wires. The buildings. Every surface, every angle, every bit of energy she could manipulate. One precise move, one perfect timing, and she could create chaos the aliens could not repair in time. Her muscles coiled, her eyes locked on the first drone about to strike. She felt the hum of her sword in perfect sync with her heartbeat. She whispered, "Think, act, survive." The first drone lunged, its glowing blade aimed straight at her chest. Mira jumped, pivoted, and struck the junction box again. Energy arcs shot into the street, bouncing unpredictably. Sparks hit the drones, forcing them into collisions. One crashed into a metal panel, spinning off into the air before landing in pieces. Another struck a reflective wall and short-circuited. The alien scout stepped back, its amusement fading. Color rippled across its skin, faster, erratic. It had never seen a human think like this, not a single child controlling, redirecting, and defying with intelligence and courage. Myra's lungs burned, but she kept moving. She had learned one truth already: humans are dangerous not because of size or strength, but because of cunning, courage, and the will to survive. One child could create chaos that giants could not predict. The street fell silent for a heartbeat. The drones hovered, sparks flickering as the alien scout considered its next move. Mira crouched, ready, knowing she could not pause. More danger was coming, faster and deadlier. But for now she had won a small victory, a proof that humans could defy the impossible. Then from above a deep rumble shook the city. The second alien ship's energy field began to expand, sending a wave of light down the streets. Myra's pulse quickened. She realized that what she had done was not enough. The real challenge was about to begin. Myra's breath came in sharp gasps as the second alien ship hovered directly above the city, its shadow casting a chill over the streets. Sparks still flickered from the crash drones, but more were coming, fast, precise, lethal. She gripped her sword, feeling the hum of the energy core resonate through her hands. Every fiber of her body was alive with focus. Humans might be small, fragile, even underestimated, but she carried something no alien could predict: courage, intelligence, and a refusal to surrender. From the ship, a single figure descended. The alien commander. Towering, translucent, its colors shifting violently like molten glass. Its eyes glowed brighter than any weapon Mira had seen, scanning her with a mixture of curiosity and irritation. "You have defied us," it said in a voice that vibrated through the city streets. "A child, yet you wield their energy like a weapon. Fascinating, but futile." Myra's heart pounded, but she did not move back. She crouched slightly, sword raised. "I won't let you hurt them," she said, voice steady despite the fear racing through her veins. "Not while I can stand." The commander tilted its head, a motion that was almost thoughtful. Then, in a blur, it unleashed a wave of energy. Mira had seen this coming, but nothing had prepared her for the force. The blast raced toward her, a wall of light meant to crush everything in its path. She twisted, raising the sword just in time. Sparks and energy arcs erupted as the beam collided with her blade, ricocheting toward the buildings, bouncing unpredictably. The air smelled of ozone and burning metal. The street below shook violently. Civilians screamed, diving for cover. Mira felt the shockwave hit her chest, but she planted her feet, refusing to fall. The sword vibrated in her hands, alive with the energy from the alien attack, ready to respond to her intent. She had trained for years, not knowing this exact moment, not knowing this exact enemy, but training had taught her discipline, patience, and timing. The commander moved faster now, sending drones in coordinated waves, attempting to flank her from both sides. Mira dodged, leapt, and spun. Each swing of her sword redirected energy, sending sparks into the drones, causing them to malfunction. One hit another, both crashing into the street in pieces. Another drone collided with a reflective wall, short-circuiting instantly. Myra's strategy was simple: control the battlefield, make the enemy fight on her terms, and strike at the right moment. Then she saw it. A weak point in the commander's hovering position. Its sensors focused on the city, its attention divided between her and the civilians below. One precise strike could disrupt its balance, create enough chaos for the remaining drones to falter, and force the ship into retreat. Would be risky. One miscalculation and she could be vaporized. But humans never avoided risk when stakes were this high. Mira crouched low, her small body tense, muscles coiled like springs. She timed the commander's next energy pulse and jumped, flipping forward in a swift arc. Her sword hummed as it connected with the commander's probe mid-air. The energy feedback surged violently, flowing from her sword into the alien device. Sparks flew, lights flickered, and the commander's glowing skin shifted erratically, colors flashing like broken glass. The drones froze, suspended mid-motion, unsure of what was happening. Mira landed lightly, crouched, ready to strike again if needed. Her chest heaved, sweat streaming down her face. The hum in her sword was louder now, almost singing with the power she channeled. The commander reeled back, shock evident in its pulsing colors. For the first time it seemed uncertain, hesitant. You are not weak," it hissed, voice trembling. "This is impossible." Mira's eyes burned. "Humans survive because we fight," she said. "We think. We adapt. And we never give up." She advanced, sword glowing, energy flowing from her body into the weapon and back out into the street. Sparks flew from every direction as she used the city itself, the reflective glass, the metal panels, the exposed wiring, to confuse and disable the drones. The commander tried to retreat, but the surge from Mira's sword disrupted its energy field. The drones crashed, one after another, until only a few remained operational. Mira focused on the commander, timing her final strike. She leapt again, spinning, and struck the probe at the perfect angle. The energy feedback cascaded across the ship, arcs of light shooting into the air. The vessel shuddered violently, lights blinking, systems failing. The street was filled with a deafening roar, followed by silence. The civilians who had hidden emerged slowly, staring in awe. Mira stood, chest heaving, sword still humming faintly. The commander wavered above, then slowly lifted, retreating toward the sky with the remaining drones. Its colors dimmed and a strange, hesitant whisper echoed in the air, "Humans are dangerous." Mira's knees trembled, but she did not fall. Around her, the city was battered but alive. The drones that had survived hovered aimlessly, unsure of their next command. Mira looked at the small figures of civilians cheering, some crying, some hugging each other in relief. She realized that one small human had turned the tide, proving that courage, intelligence, and determination could challenge even the most impossible odds. Her sword's glow faded slightly as she lowered it. She could feel the exhaustion in her body, but also a surge of pride. Humans were small, fragile, underestimated, but when they refused to surrender, when they used their minds and hearts together, nothing was impossible. Somewhere above, the alien commander vanished into the clouds, but Mira knew it would remember. Humans were not toys. Humans were not weak. Humans could fight, and sometimes, one human could change everything. The city slowly began to rebuild. Fires were doused, rubble cleared, and survivors tended to each other. Mira stood on the plaza, the wind catching her braid, her sword resting against her shoulder. Her small body had faced impossible machines and towering aliens. Her mind had outsmarted them. Her courage had saved a city. And deep inside, she knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy had seen a human child strike back at the impossible, and no alien would ever underestimate humans again. The alien ships had vanished from the skyline, but the city of Tetsuya was not silent. Smoke rose from damaged streets, sparks flickered from broken power lines, and the cries of frightened people mixed with cautious relief. Mira stood in the plaza, sword still in hand, chest heaving, sweat and dirt streaked across her face. She was small, only 11 years old, but her eyes burned with the unshakable fire of someone who had faced the impossible, and survived. Around her, humans emerged from hiding places, faces pale, eyes wide, but filled with wonder. Did she do that?" whispered a man holding his child close. She stopped them?" Mira lowered her sword slowly. Her arms trembled, not from fear, but from the strain of controlling energy she had barely understood herself. Sparks still danced faintly along the edge of the blade. For a moment she allowed herself to breathe and look at what she had done. Drones lay smashed on the streets. Shattered panels and sparks crisscrossed the buildings. The city had been attacked, but it had survived. Her father appeared through the rubble, his face pale but shining with pride. "Mira," he said, voice thick, you did something no one thought possible. The city, the people, you saved them." He hugged her tightly, and Mira allowed herself a small smile, feeling the weight of exhaustion and relief wash over her. But even as the humans celebrated, Mira's mind was already scanning the horizon. The alien commander had retreated, but it had seen her. It had felt the energy, witnessed her courage and intelligence firsthand. The galaxy would remember. And if they returned, humans had sent a clear message. Courage, wit, and the will to fight were far more dangerous than size or technology. The crowd around her began to cheer, slowly at first, then with growing intensity. Children, parents, workers, and even some injured adults clapped and shouted, rallying around the girl who had faced giants and won. Mira looked at them and realized something important. Courage was contagious. Humans, even when small and underestimated, inspired each other. Fear could be turned into hope. Doubt into determination. A woman ran up, tears streaming down her face. You saved my son," she cried, hugging Mira fiercely. Mira patted the woman's back, feeling the pulse of relief around her. Every face she saw reminded her of the stakes. Humans were fragile, yes, but fragile did not mean weak. Fragile could survive, adapt, and fight back when the heart was strong enough. Mira glanced at the remnants of the drones scattered across the streets. Their technology had been advanced, far beyond anything humanity had faced, yet a single human mind had turned their tools against them. She realized that what she had done was not about power, it was about thinking faster, acting smarter, and never backing down. She had faced impossible odds and proven that humans, even one human, could matter more than any machine, more than any alien. From high above, a faint shimmer of light flickered across the clouds. Myra's eyes narrowed. The alien commander had left, yes, but it had not forgotten. Somewhere, far from Tetsuya, a massive mind was recalculating, revising its understanding of humans. Mira felt a small thrill, a mixture of caution and confidence. Humans had survived this attack, but the galaxy was vast. Challenges would come again. And humans would be ready. The city began to rebuild, slowly, painfully, but with determination. Humans carried debris, tended to the injured, and shared food and water with those in need. Mira walked among them, sword still in hand, feeling the weight of her responsibility. She was only a child, but she had changed everything. Fear had become courage. Despair had become hope. Humans had faced the impossible and survived. Her father caught up with her again, placing a hand on her shoulder. "Mira," he said softly, "today the world saw what humans can do. You've reminded them. We are not weak. We are not helpless. We are dangerous when we refuse to give up." Mira nodded, her chest swelling with a mixture of pride and humility. She knew the battle had been won, but the war of perception, the galaxy's perception of humanity, was just beginning. Her small actions had shifted the balance, changed the story, and proven that courage was not measured in size, strength, or technology, but in heart and mind. As the sun set over Tetsuya, painting the city in shades of orange and gold, Mira raised her sword one last time, letting it catch the light. She could feel the energy hum softly as if acknowledging her will. The humans around her watched, silent now, but their eyes glimmered with renewed hope. Somewhere in the void, the alien commander's voice echoed faintly through its communication systems, fragmented and unsure. "Humans are not what we expected. They are something else entirely." Mira did not hear it. She only knew this. One small human had faced the impossible, turned fear into strategy, courage into action, and had protected an entire city. That city, and every human who survived to tell the tale, would remember her courage forever. The battle was over, but the message was clear. Humanity could fight. Humanity could survive. Humanity could shine even in the face of giants. And Mira, 11 years old, small in stature but enormous in spirit, had proven it. The sky darkened as night fell, but the city glowed with light, hope, and determination. Humans had faced impossible odds, and they had won.